Good evening, Flint, and thank you for tuning in to another edition of Meet the Candidates. I am your host, KESHA, and we have a power-packed summer ahead of us. We have the mayoral elections, and we're going to be going into city and council elections as well. Well, who we have in our studio today is Eric Mays. He is a political activist in our community, and he is running for the newly opened mayoral seat. Eric, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, I prefer political consultant, but it's all the same.
Okay. I'm staying corrected. Eric, we're going to start off by talking a little bit about your background, what you did before you decided to go into politics.
And Keisha, that's why I say political consultant, because my degree is in political science pre-law from Michigan State University. I have a bachelor's degree, and a lot of candidates have hired me as a consultant when they ran their campaigns, and they paid me well. I have to file it on my taxes, so I take on candidates based upon my business. I'm a political consultant. The Flint Journal say political activist. I'm a member of Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church, where my father was the pastor, Pastor Mays. As a matter of fact, that's why I got this on, because he died March 21st of 2007, and we just had our activities at the church that I participated in over the weekend. But anyway, I'm 50 years old. I was born September 16th of 1958. I went to Beecher, I went to Mount Morris. I graduated in 1976 from Flint Northern, and then I graduated from Michigan State in 1981. When I came back from college, then I was the third vice president of the Flint branch of the NAACP. I was the political action chairperson and on the board of directors of the Flint branch of the NAACP. I was assigned to cover city council meetings, and as a result of having to attend city council meetings, that's where it sparked my interest. So for the last 25 years, I've been monitoring that activity. I've helped people get elected. They haven't did exactly what I want them to do. So now, sometime you have to stop your political consultant business, get in there and get the job done yourself. And that's where we're at now. And that's the short version.
Okay, so is that your current profession, the political consultant? What is your day job?
My current profession right now, I'm retired from GM. I was going to joke and say my current profession is candidate for mayor of the city of Flint, but I retired in June of 2008 from General Motors. My pension is vested. I start drawing it at age 55. When I say retired, that's when my retirement will kick in. I went under the option of the $140,000 buyout. Most people don't know that you still get a pension, but when you reach a certain age. So for 31 years, I worked for General Motors. I was elected inside of the UAW. I was committee person, recording secretary, constitutional convention delegate. I represented 9,600 laid off workers as the chairperson of Region 1C Unemployment Coalition. We got unemployment extensions, we put money in the sub-fund, and just a lot of UAW activity. Now I'm moving outside of General Motors and trying to bring my expertise to the citizens of the city of Flint. We need help.
I would certainly agree with that. Now, you were defeated by Delrico Lloyd back in August for the First Ward City Council seat. What are you planning to do now or do differently to build up that constituency and that vote to win?
Well, I'm proud of the election that Delrico Lloyd and I had. You must understand that when Delrico Lloyd and I ran, he had a lot of people helping, and we did too. That election was 702 votes for me, 745 for him. So that's a small margin of victory, 43. And I'm proud of it. It could have went either way, but you're right. We lost that, but I had to disappear. Well, I did disappear for a week during that campaign, and that week haunts me over and over, because if I hadn't disappeared for that week, in my opinion, I would have won that election. What I will do differently is monitor and stick with my campaign every day for the next month and a half. I do not have to go anywhere or disappear this time.
Okay. Now, most people who follow city council, follow the politics in this city, are familiar with you because you speak out very openly about the previous mayor, Don Williamson. Now, would it be fair to say that probably in the last couple months that's died down a little bit? Is that fair to say? And if so, why?
What has died down?
The fact that you're not speaking out as openly against the mayor as you were, I guess, at the beginning of his first term or his second term.
Well, of course I'm not speaking out about the mayor right now because he has resigned, but I'm being sarcastic. What happened in that first term, when we elected him, I made a statement to the citizens during that election, and a lot of people don't remember. I say, if I don't see what I like after we help him, I'll be the first to do a recall. I did that, but people wasn't listening at that time. I also engineered a forfeiture or office proceeding where Ed Taylor and Johnny Coleman and them was going to do it. It was about 100, 200 people in chambers, and Scott Kincaid, Carolyn Sims, and Josh Freeman derailed it. So he stayed. 2-3 years later, you seen Alex Harris, Donna Poplar, and others do a recall like it was something new. Really, we are always usually a couple, 2 years ahead of the curve. We usually know what's happening that far in advance before others find out. And that's where we're at now. We know what's happening politically in this town. We understand the budget deficit, the police department, how to create jobs. We understand what the youth need. We're 2 years ahead of a lot of the politicians who seem to be more popular. Once we attempted to fix it and people didn't listen, we just got a little quiet and we waited. Now it's time to speak up again. Williamson did some good and he did some bad. Politically, we can disagree, but I got a good heart. I treat everybody nice.
I would have to agree with that. How do you think the current administrator is doing? The interim mayor, how do you think that he's doing in his short time?
Well, based upon anybody coming in behind the Williamson administration, and remember, Williamson made the decision to put him there. He removed Darrell Buchanan from that position and he put him there. I've already asked Mike Brown to stay on in the Eric Mays administration. I've communicated specifically with Mike Brown and his right-hand man, who is Dwayne Miller. And so I have created a new department called the Department of Commerce. That'll be the one where all the people get into business and I'll help create jobs. And Mike Brown would be ideal for that because of his relationship with the Regional Chamber of Commerce, the United Way. Or he could remain as city administrator. And then I would move another person over to the Department of Commerce. If he moves to the Department of Commerce, then I would take Dwayne Miller up probably to be the city administrator. And let's say I see a couple candidates in this race who could help out, but we'll wait to see what they do.
I see. Now, in the State of the City address, he laid out a $14 million deficit, possibly going into a $30 million deficit with the lawsuits that are facing the city. Would you be willing to state right here what you will not cut? Because obviously there are going to be some very difficult challenges going into this administration if you're elected. There are going to be some things that have to be cut for the budget to be balanced. Will you commit to what you will not cut when you go into office?
KESHA, I will not on this show give you specific details about what our budget will look like specifically and say hold me to it. But in general, by me knowing that budget, I've watched a lot of